Today, team, welcome back to another weekly update. If you haven't watched these before, my name is Alex. I'm a creative business owner. I own multiple creative businesses and even a property marketplace, all aimed at serving and working alongside property developers, both here in New Zealand and Australia. This channel, these videos are an honest representation, a documentation of my journey as a business owner, week in, week out. A lot of times we see highlights online, we see YouTubers and creators share all the high successes and great successes of their company or their personal brand and all these great things. And those are amazing because we need to have a big vision. We need to have things that we're aiming for, big hairy goals, as I call them most recently. But we need to also understand that there are also lows in business. There are trials and tribulations. There are wrestling points. There are frustrations. There are depths to, just feeling the weight of building something significant. If success was easy, then everyone would do it. There's a quote out there that resembles that line. And so there's a reason why only few become truly successful. And, there's a whole variety and everyone measures success in a different way. But there is a connection between deep, hard work, tough times and successful stories and big outcomes. And I think what bridges the gap is that you have a person or a company, an organization in the middle that bridge those 2 points in time and decide that through the lows, we will commit to striving and to head towards our highs. And I actually think there's a direct correlation between the way that we respond in the low moments of business, the low moments of life, the way that we decide to dig in deep, feel the emotion, be self-aware to what's going on, the reality, face the music, and then make a plan that's going to get us through and out and up towards the big goals that we have. And so this channel is all about that. I know for me, there is a lot that goes on. I've said it time and time again in these update videos. I feel like I could do daily update videos. So much happens in business when you're leading team, when you're aspiring to be great, when you've got expectations that can feel outrageously high. And so anything that's sub or below that in terms of team performance, personal performance, your leadership, ad campaigns, a whole mix of things and the way that we're serving our clients day to day can make it feel like you're not quite winning. And so I want to make these videos because it documents for myself my journey. I want to look back on these in months to come, years to come, and admire and observe and really be grateful for these times as I wrestled through small business, growing with aspirational goals to become Render Studio, for example, to become a $15 million company. That's a big, hairy goal. And so you're not going to get there by just winning every single day, but you will get there by committing to the process, committing to the journey. And so in today's video, we've got quite a few updates to go through. I've written them here on a journal so that I do not forget and I can hopefully keep this concise. But thank you, first of all, if you do watch these videos regularly. I've had a few messages and, a handful of messages is enough for me. I do these videos for myself, but I also hope that they are offering value to you. Even if it's just like you're having a tough week one day, you watch one of these videos where I'm having a tough week. Like if you watched last week's episode, you'll definitely get a bit of toughness in it. And you can just go, oh, cool. It's human. It's normal to be a business owner that struggles or wrestles with things. But it's also normal to choose to be someone who can stand up in those times, be self-aware enough to look at what's gone down and assessing the issues, assessing the breakdown to then make a plan towards your breakthrough, which is another great quote that I love, is that often it's in the moments of breakdown that produce a breakthrough. And so if things are crumbling around your business or around your creative brand or just even like your identity as a business owner, anything like that, choose to reframe it, not like, oh, woe is me, but reframe it as, oh, so things are breaking down. There's obviously tension here, which could be signs that we're about to break through. But if you don't decide to go through the breakdowns, then hey, you'll never make it. And so I'm trying to be a champion for myself and hopefully for those watching that you can commit in hard times to get through it, to be a big person, to be a strong person, to figure out a way. There is always a way. And so let's get into it. Today has been a massive week. Last week was huge. And to be honest, I don't feel like I came out of the last week. Things were tough, wrestling with big changes for this big new goal to achieve a large evaluation for Render Studio. We've also got Townhouses NZ, which is we've got some exciting updates that I'll share later in the piece. Don't you worry. But through achieving big goals, you have to take a real reality check. Face the music, survey the land of where you currently are, and ask the tough questions. Are we going to get to that big goal if we continue in the way that we are in our financial structure, our team structure, our offering, our price, even the repositioning of our brand? These are all things that we've been dealing with. And last week it just hit me. We've had to have some big conversations with people on our team, pretty much with everyone on our team, really, including ourselves, that if we want to make a big impact, we've got to make some big changes along the way. And it's better to do this sooner than later so that we can continue forward with momentum and be as lightweight as possible, whilst at the same time having a heavy and large outcome. So last week was really big. This week was really big too. To be really transparent, we dropped a ball on quite a large client this week, and that was tough. That is tough. To navigate where we went wrong as a company. So for Render Studio, for the client, a household name, we've done 2 projects for them before. This is the 3rd project, and there's quite a pipeline in the future. And so we were a little bit late on this job, and that's just gutting. We really champion ourselves on being someone you'll never have to call. One of Render Studio's tags, if you've spent any time with us in a sales call or any sort of interaction, is that we kind of push really hard that we make 3D renders easy. 3D renders made easy. And part of those are little brand promises like you'll never have to call us. We'll be proactive. We'll be in front of you. And hey, we're not perfect, but we've got a pretty good track record of that. And so to sort of falter at that this week, that was a little bit gutting. And it's okay. It's actually okay to have moments where you stumble. But for us as a company, I know personally as a leader that to achieve these big goals we've got, we have to take an honest look at every step along the way. And so if we fail or we trip up or we just, don't meet an expectation that we had set with a client, then we need to take a real honest look at the entire landscape of that situation and go, okay, well, from the client's perspective, could we have received more? Probably not. There were a couple of moments where they requested a new camera, like mid-drafts, which just means that we need to spend more time. But when you're on a tight timeline, that can be difficult. There was a couple of things, but really, they weren't really a massive influence in the breakdown here. The breakdown was an internal side with our team and with us, and just setting expectations. And so for us, it's like in reflection, in review, when we do a project debrief next week, it'll be asking those questions like, what could Render Studio have done better to onboard the client, to onboard our team member into this project, to equip them with everything that they needed? What did we miss? What were the details that we picked up along the way during the project that we should have had nailed in the beginning? All of those things are learnings that we get to take. And it has been really tough. I honestly believe my heart rate yesterday was probably at 150 for about 7 hours, 8 hours. Just a stressful day. You're in problem solver mode. You've got Hannah and I, as the company, as the business owners, we have such high expectations of ourselves. Probably not too high, but we're probably very harsh on ourselves. And sometimes we're probably a bit harsh on the team. And we're trying to be better at that. At the same time, we're trying to make sure that we have really strong culture, really strong expectations and guidance and support so that we can excel. And I think a testament over the last year for Render Studio is the amount of system process efficiencies that we've built into our company to ensure that our clients get value, but our team feel the win and are equipped to make wins. I think it's been something to write home about. That's been something to probably put a plaque on the wall. Like, we did good in business development and business leadership this year. Like, if there was something to take away, I would put that under the tree with a ribbon on top and open it on the 25th of December and consider it a gift. But there's always work that we can be doing. And so in this review, it's going to be really interesting and I think rewarding to see it as an opportunity, not to just be like, oh, we failed. It's like, hey, we faltered a bit. What can we learn? What went down? Let's go through it again and look at, like I said, expectations for client, onboarding client, expectations for team, onboarding team, camera views, details, just everything that we didn't have at the start, how can we set ourselves up to win next time. We're going to even send the client like a debrief as well. It's good to be proactive in business. You're always reframing, shifting your mindset in business to go, well, we're not just like a business, we're a service provider. We're here to add value to a client. We're here to serve them really well and add value, which I heard on a Luke Kemi's YouTube video just this week. Business is about serving people and adding value. So in Render Studio's context, service would be us, delivering our renders, emailing well, having good communication, doing the draft revision rounds smoothly. That's like the service side. But the adding value is not just in the good times, it's in the tough times. So adding value in this moment would say to us, wisdom would say to us, do a debrief and let the client know everything that we could have done better and the plan and the steps that we're going to take to nail it next time. And just being really transparent, being really open. And I think that in that moment is adding value. Adding value in a positive side would be, excelling in the output that you're providing. That's definitely beyond service, would be saying like just doing everything you can to deliver promptly, have good communication. But then it's also things like adding value in terms of helping them with design decisions if they want it, helping them with application in a contextual setting if they want it. Like for us, we like to book the drone pilots for the client. We charge them. We charge the client for it, but we're adding value because we're organizing something that takes something off of their plate. And so we used to do it for free. We used to give away drone images inclusive in all of our packages. And we still do for some clients that we love. We love all of our clients, don't worry. But there are some clients that we still cover the drone for because one, I love the content. I get to post drone aerials. Two, we like to add value to the client. And also if we get at the start of the project, we get all of the beautiful context of the setting, the surrounding the property, which is amazing. But now we actually charge our clients for drone images, which would sound weird. It's like, well, how are you helping them out? You're charging them for a service. It's like, yeah, but we're taking another thing off their plate, which makes their life better. Property developers, and probably any client that you're serving, but for us, we intimately know that property developers are in a crazy world. It's like trying to navigate your way through a maze, but every time you cut a hedge in front of you, the one behind you grows back again. Like it's just this absolute navigation nightmare. And so we want to make it as easy as possible for property developers to get 3D renders, and that is us adding value. But yeah, these are all the things that we're going to do this week in review. That's kind of the sentiment I wanted to share in this video, is that there's that funny reel or meme it says, and it's that guy walking by the swimming pool saying, tough times never last, tough people do, only tough people last, or something like that. Worst impression I've ever done in my life. But that's a great example that tough times don't last. Like you're never going to be going through it badly forever unless you're just making silly decisions and not seeking wisdom. But if you are open and aware to the process and willing to make changes and have tough conversations or tough changes, then you will outlast tough times and become a tough person. So that's the sentiment of this video. Last week, really heavy. This week was, really tough. But last night, I just got to a point where I realized, hey, it's okay to be human. That was one observation. So what I mean by that is it's okay to feel emotions. Hannah and I were talking about it, that like emotions are real, like they're valid. It's valid to feel emotions. They're kind of, I guess, designed to guide you or give you inklings or give you, just notifications that maybe you need to be aware of something large going on in your life. So emotions are valid, but they're not like true. They can often lie to you. So like we can have irrational fears because we're driven by emotion. Now in business, this happens like all the time. You mess up a bit or you miss something or, something just doesn't go well in business. And our emotions tell us like, oh man, this sucks. Like it's all over. The irrational fear is like, oh, my business is going to shut down. It's like, well, that's kind of irrational because although the emotion's valid, like you can feel that, it's not true. Like if you feel bad about business, like the IRD or whatever is not going to come and like literally shut you down unless you've been a naughty boy. And so it's being human. We're like, hey, it's okay that we feel rubbish, like it actually sucks, it sucks. And it's okay to feel sucky. But the next thing was that we just have really high expectations. Hannah and I both did our strength tests as a couple, as individuals, as business partners, and we both have very different strength sets. I'm a visionary, dreamcaster, ideation, strategic communicator, and Hannah is like administrative, is strategic in terms of implementation and output. She's an absolute weapon of just systems and processes and breaking down big visions down into small bite-sized pieces. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Gruesome picture, by the way, but it's a great analogy. But we both share one strength, and I think it's the reason why we get on so well. People have often said, I don't know how you do it. Like, you're parenting together, you're married together, you're doing life together, you're also in business together. It's like, it doesn't always work for everybody, but it works for us. And I think one of the reasons is because we share a strength, which is called the developer strength. So the developer strength says that you see people or spaces or opportunities in your mind, and that opportunity or that space or that person may have like really raw goods, like they've got the essence for greatness, or an opportunity has like a little spark of something that could be huge. And a developer looks at that and goes, oh, how can I set up a environment or equip this person or this moment, or take seize of this opportunity to make sure that there's maximized returns, that we actually develop this person or develop this idea. So Hannah and I both have that, and I think that's why we gel so well, that in the tough times, we can both see like, oh, but there's opportunity here. We know that even though it's tough, there are opportunities for us to grow. This has been a long episode. I'm just looking at the time, guys. 16:40. Let's carry on. And so that's only point number one on here. So let's just keep going. Big week. To give it some languages. Frustration, limitation. But then the outcome that we're feeling from last night and into today, you can hear in my voice, there's a bit of energy, a bit of passion here, is that frustration and limitation are the breeding ground for innovation. I love this. I've always carried this line that as creatives, as business owners, as problem solvers, limitation is the breeding ground for innovation. Like, ask yourself this question: why are there so many successful Kiwis? This family that I've been following, I mean, hey, no one's perfect, but the Mowbray family are absolutely insane. They are completely unapologetic for their story. They are unapologetic for their come up. They are unapologetic about their success, and they're unapologetic about their new ventures. Just look at the brands that they have built. Look at the brands that they own. Look at the brands that they're tackling, like that they're taking on. And man, like, I'm not an economist or a business expert or a lawyer or whatever, but I look at it and I go, man, phenomenal Kiwi family on the world stage. Well, why? It's because New Zealand is so limited in so many ways. Our network is low, our economy is crazy. We are literally the number 8 wire country of the world, community of the world, and yet it's because of that limitation that we are some of the world's greatest innovators. And that's just a really exciting energy to, I guess, just tap into. That's a great current to tap into, because it's like, well, hey, I'm limited in quite a few ways being in New Zealand, even being in Nelson. And so choosing to see that as a breeding ground for innovation, honestly, will be the best decision you make this year. Leading into 2025, if you choose to look at everything that's going bad and choose to get something good out of it, you will innovate. You will get something awesome. So that's that point there. Let's move on to the next point. Exciting momentum for townhouses.nz. Scott and I have posted a couple of things in the last month that have really led to some awesome opportunities, conversations. Essentially, we've just been sharing our data. We didn't share this publicly, but in the month of October, we had 150,000 map loads, which essentially means our map page, which is one of the hero products on our platform, got 150,000 loads, so views, visits. That is absolutely insane. That is like so exciting. Mapbox have started billing us. It's not out the gate yet, but it's actually an achievement, because Mapbox give you 100,000 free monthly map loads, and because we're going over that and getting charged, it's like we're paying them essentially for a tap on our own back, because it's like, this is awesome. We're getting charged because it's working and it's going well. So that's one metric. We started sharing the top 10 developers that were searched in the last couple of months as well. And that's got some interest on that too. We've also started sharing some of our sales success. So we've had new developers sign up, developers we don't even know of. That we know of but don't know. So they've cold signed up, which is awesome. We've got new sponsorship opportunities. We've had some pretty exciting partners approach us to run ads or partnership in a content collaboration sort of mode, or just they just really want to see us win, which is awesome because these are some big people. The next one is new collabs. So we've had people who are really interested in the data we have for off-plan sales, and they want to partner on probably receiving the data, but also contributing to it, which is really cool. A good influencer in that space. And also we have just locked in our new pricing. So we're launching this, we're redoing our sales pages, and we're going to do a big campaign. We've got a bunch of developers who have signed up but not completed their profile. And so we're going to throw this new package at them in the hopes that they upgrade, and we can, it feels like we're approaching a hockey stick growth moment. And that is just phenomenal for any startup to, one, survive through your first year, but more than that, actually thrive and heading towards what we're heading to. I'm just like, this is going to be awesome. Next on the list is data is everything. I just want to say data in your business is everything. From sales to marketing to the value that you're providing. If you don't have data, you cannot make good decisions. Let me reframe that. If you do not have good data, you cannot make good decisions. You need to have data that helps you in tough times, or in times where you need to innovate, or times you need to make big changes, or the times you hit a roadblock and you have to make a decision really fast. If you do not have data to inform what decision you should make, you're honestly shooting in the dark. You're shooting into a barrel and just hoping that you catch something. Now, when you have data over, things like your website visits, things like how many reviews you have, things like the satisfaction of your customers, like what rating would they put you on, your referral, your word of mouth lead flow, like your brand lead flow. If you don't have data over your company, then making decisions without data is like shooting in the dark. It's like having a blindfold on and walking what you think is north, but really it's south, and you're asleep. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Not having data does not make sense. And so that's something that's really big on Townhouses NZ and for Render Studio. We know on average how many, the average order value or the order list of renders now, like people need about 7. 7 is like the perfect amount of renders to get a good campaign going. Now, if you go any over that, you're just going to excel. Like, trust me, you will fly in your marketing campaign if you've got a good sales partner. But anything less than, like, 5's all good. 5's good. 5's okay. But I mean, you just get limited. Like, you just start designing a landing page, or you start designing a brochure, or start walking a client through the renders, and you're like, oh, we're pretty limited here. We've just got floor plans now. So data helps us build our pricing and build our packages. Another one here is that poor wisdom, that's an observation from this week, is that poor wisdom is sort of masks itself. And behind that mask is actually fear. And so fear can mask itself in poor wisdom. And what I mean by this is that sometimes we think that wisdom's telling us that we should play it safe. But I actually think that playing it safe is actually fear. That actually in the back end of playing it safe is actually just a big word called fear. And that's why I was thinking about the Mowbray family. They're just unapologetic of succeeding. And I think that is because they have dealt, or they deal to on a regular basis, any sense of fear that pops up. And they're just like, hey, let's just go. And so for a lot of us Kiwis, or a lot of us creative, any business owner, it's time to just like talk to your fear and say, no more, buddy. I'm going to charge forward. I'm not going to play it safe. I'm going to be wise. But wisdom would say, back yourself and go hard. That's what I think wisdom would say. Don't play it safe. Back yourself and go hard. And I guess just to wrap up this video, my bigger observation from this week and today is, it's when the going gets tough when true legends are formed. It's in the moments where the going is tough, where it's gritty, where business is struggling or it's tight or there's just a lot of friction. It's in those moments that the legends that we read about, that we hear of, that we see, that we admire, that we watch now, that we aspire to become are made in the furnace. This moment where it is just, it can feel like it's just too hot right now. There's just too much going on. I want to give up. Well, it's in that moment when you tell yourself, actually, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to make a commitment to myself and to my business and to my team and to my family that I'm going to get through this. To bring this full circle, it's committing to limitations and knowing that it's in limitation where we can truly innovate. So that's the video. Big week. A lot to talk about. Obviously, hitting 25 minutes. This is probably my largest video. I'm probably going to get 1,000 shorts and reels to share on social media. But thank you for tuning into this video. If you're a creative business owner, you're a founder, you're even just like in the construction industry, building industry, architecture industry, and you're running a business, please leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel wherever you're watching these videos, like it, because it really helps me figure out what I should share in detail, what narrative this channel needs to be. And if I hear crickets in the chat, then hey, I'm just going to keep making the videos anyway because this is good for me. It's an output for me. And so thank you for watching the video. Subscribe. I'll see you guys later.